I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas.
Hello everyone, Uncle Charles Walhingford. I always say that. Uncle Charles Walhingford back again with another marriage, I guess, funny experience to try to shed some lighter light on being married. A lot of times people try to make marriage so rough and undesirable. It can actually be fun. No, sometimes, like in the story, it's not all that fun. It can be fun after the fact. And this story is not funny. It was not funny during. It was funny after the fact. But this story also can help you understand what marriage should be about. So, the setting is in Orlando, Florida, or actually technically Lake Buena Vista, Florida, in Disney World in Magic Kingdom. For many of you, you've always wanted to go to Disney World and your parents couldn't take you. For many of you, you've been to Disney World and you love it. For many of you, you've been to Disney World and will never go back. And I understand every single one of whoever situation you're in, you are. Disney is expensive. Disney, because of the location, could be hot. And you're going to be standing in line for a long time. Meaning at the end of the day, you are tired. You're ready to go. Now, the question is, when do you actually leave? You spend a lot of money. You're trying to get all the money that out of the situation, get your full amount, your full experience, because you just spent thousands of dollars to stand in line. So it was right before it was time to leave. Wife and I wanted to go on one last ride. Luckily, my mother is there too, because my mother, my sister, and my oldest son we're all together on this vacation. My oldest son at that time was too small to go on the ride we wanted to go on. It was a roller coaster. So I asked my mother, hey, you mind if we go on this ride while you watch the sun? And she's like looking at me like, absolutely, that's why I'm here. So you guys can have some fun too. I was like, that's right, Mom, thanks. So we go off. Oh, let me stop. I say to my mother, hey, where are you going to be? Where you want to set up so we know where to meet each other at the end? Mind you, this is a different time. This is a time where everybody doesn't have a cell phone. This is a time where maybe one person will have a cell phone in the whole group. So it wasn't, we'll just meet up after it's all over. This time in history, you had to be at a certain place at a certain time, especially in Disney World. So we get on the ride, we get off, and you know what happened? Mom is nowhere around. So, things happen. You might have to move. So it's like, okay, maybe we move. They had to move. There was a parade going on right at the same time. Maybe she moved because she wanted to see the parade better, or she moved because people were gathering around. She didn't want to be around that many people. Maybe she had to go to the restroom. So we made a circle. My wife and I made a circle around where we thought she may be, not too far away. Now, if you're ever looking for somebody, when you're making that circle, you just expand the circle a little bit more. Because if you go in too many different directions, you're not allowing the person to look for you. So that's why you go in a circle. So we're going in the circle, and as we go in this circle, and we're expanding the circle a little bit wider, my wife is getting madder every time. Every time we go around in circles, she's getting madder and madder. And she's saying, I don't understand. I don't understand how a grown woman could go do something like this. She's been to Disney World plenty of times, and she knows this can't happen. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, that's right, that's right. As she's doing this, I'm thinking, okay, I know what she's doing. I know what she's doing. If my mom is not in a situation, an emergency situation, or a messed up situation, when we find them, my wife is telling me I need to talk to my mom. That's what she's telling me. A lot of times, guys and girls, a lot of times, like 99% of the time, women don't tell you exactly what they want you to do. They give you hints to what they want you to do. And I knew my wife wanted me to jump down and yell at my mom. She wanted me to give my wife my wife wanted me to give my mom the business. She wanted me to let her have it. I know that's what she wanted because my wife would not have done that. My wife does not overstep her bounds. My wife is very respectful to elders and things like that. But she was mad. You know, the whole term happy wife, happy life thing is true to a degree under certain circumstances. But under this circumstance, yeah, that's exactly what I was prepared to do or preparing to do. And lo and behold, we found my mother in a place that she said she would not be. And she was in a restaurant. She did not take the food back to the place where she said we were going to be. That's what the smart person would have done. Got hungry, fine, got it. Let's grab the food and get back to where we were. Back to the place we agreed upon. She didn't do that. So I found her, asked her what happened. I got hungry. Why do you go back? I don't know. That's not right. That's not fair. That's not, and I'm accelerating it. And so I got to the point where I was like, that's it. We're leaving. Let's go. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. Let's get out of here. So as we're walking, my son's in the stroller at the time. I'm pushing the stroller and I'm just telling my mother, I can't believe you would do that. I thought you would be better than that. You know how this place can be. I'm going at it. And eventually I'm finished. But if you know anything about Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, it's big. It's really big. So you have quite a distance to leave the park. You have to get on one form of transportation, then you have to get on a second form of transportation, depending on how you got there, if you need to go back to your car. So it's a long trip. So you can be fuming, you can be upset for a long time. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened with my mother, to the point where I look behind me because we're sitting on the tram. There's a tram that takes you to your car after you've gone through all the other stuff. Tram behind me, my mom is behind me, and my mother is crying. My mother is boo-hooing, not teared up, boo-hooing. And I'm like, oh God. She was upset. She was feeling really, really low because her son let her have it in Disney World. Now I knew it was going to be rough. I knew, but it still was bad. When I was telling this story the very first time I told this story and I didn't think about it, the person I told this story, he was like, oh, wait a minute. I got to this point in the story. He said, hey, wait a minute. Let me get it straight. You made your mother cry in the happiest place on earth? And I'm like, oh God, yes, I made my mother cry in the happiest place on earth. Well, I can laugh about it now, but it really wasn't a laughing matter at that time. However, being a man, you do some hard, sometimes when it's calculated, it's painful. You make hard, cold decisions. And I made a hard, cold decision instead of not saying anything. Because I knew if I didn't say anything to my mother, my wife would have still been fuming, still would have been mad, and that shit would have been directed at me. No, 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 no. We reconciled later on, me and my mother, you know, at Disney World. I mean, in Orlando. You know, it's hard to stay mad when you're when you're on vacation. You have so many nice things around. We reconciled, figured it out, and everything else. But the funny thing is, while my mother's crying, you know who's consoling my mother? My wife. My wife is consoling my mother, and she knows that she is the one who put the hit out on that lady. She's the one who put the hit out on her. And she's consoling her. I'm like, oh boy. All right, that's the story, guys. But one of the reasons why I want to tell this story is because the reality of it is, it's a funny story, and that's the whole premise of these stories. But the reality of it is, your wife comes before your mother. Your wife comes before your mother. When I pose this to other people, a lot of people, you know, they go, no, it's your mother. No, it's your wife. Every single person, 100%, 100% of the people who said your mother comes first, divorced a single man. Every person who says your mother does not come first, your wife comes first, happily married man. And then out of those men, there were always men who came from a household where their father was a good guy, was a guy who took care of mom. So the guys who feel that mother comes first, they feel responsible for mom. For the guys who don't feel that way, they know they have a responsible man already taking care of their mom. All right, guys, that's it for now. That's the video. I hope this made you laugh, made you think a little bit, made you not want to go to Disney World, or made you want to go to Disney World. I don't know. All right, that's it. Remember, I'm Uncle Charles Walhingford, and I'm here to help.